A widow who had tea with the Prince of Wales at her home in Cardiff to discuss her husband's suicide called it a whirlwind experience. In an emotional conversation, Rhian Mannings told Prince William how her husband, Paul, died by suicide just 5 days after they lost their 1-year-old son, George, in 2012. She later founded a bereavement charity, which has now been supported by a £1 million donation from Prince William's Royal Foundation to create a UK suicide prevention network. Ms. Mannings said it was really special, and meant the world, to welcome the future king into the family home she once shared with Paul and George. In a conversation filmed by Kensington Palace for World Mental Health Day, the prince asked Ms. Mannings about how she had coped, how she continued raising 2 children, whether she had faced stigma around suicide at the time, and what she would say to her husband now. At one point, Prince William was visibly moved and appeared too emotional to speak. He spoke of his commitment to building a bold, unified national response to the heartbreaking and preventable tragedy of suicide. Ms. Mannings first received an email from Kensington Palace inviting her to Windsor Castle to discuss suicide, which she said was surreal in the first place. But soon after, another message came through: Prince William wanted to visit her at home. "To be honest, I just laughed," she said. "I was giggling, thinking, this can't be serious. I thought they meant Cardiff, not my actual house." When it was confirmed, Ms. Mannings felt a mix of emotions: amazing, nerve-wracking, exciting. She added, "It's a difficult subject that we were going to talk about as well, so obviously it was going to be emotive. For him to come into my home, where I lived with Paul and George, there's something really special about that. It felt like he was stepping into my life." Ms. Mannings said she had met Prince William a few times before and had spoken about emotional things, so she knew the conversation wasn't going to be easy. "Talking about suicide and loss never is, but I was surprised by how hard he found it. Seeing him upset at my kitchen table was tough. Normally, you'd give someone a big CWTCH, but he's the future king, I wasn't sure what I could do." Despite the emotion, she said the atmosphere was incredibly relaxed, with lots of hugs and hand-holding throughout. "It was lovely to see how much it mattered to him, not just hearing our story, but looking at how we stop this happening to other families. He is obviously very passionate about that, and that came across in bucketloads." Prince William stayed for over an hour and never looked at his watch, and even chatted with her as he got into the car, Ms. Mannings said. Her children, Holly, 17, and Isaac, 16, were surprised by how normal he was. Ms. Mannings explained how they said, "That was weird, he's just so normal. He spoke to them like someone we knew. He makes it very easy to forget who he is. It was a very special day." Ms. Mannings also shared how her mum, Chris Jones, 78, wanted to make the Prince a Victoria sponge and some Welsh cakes. But with the conversation running long, they didn't get round to it, so as he left, they offered to send them home for George, Charlotte and Louis. He accepted, and left with the cakes packed in one of Ms. Jones' Tupperware boxes. After her own loss, Ms. Mannings founded a charity, To Wish, to help those affected by the sudden or unexpected death of a child or young person. That charity will be one of 20 organizations that will form part of a new national suicide prevention network, being launched with £1 million over 3 years, from the Royal Foundation of the Prince and Princess of Wales. The network will be chaired by Professor Anne John, an expert in the prevention of suicide and consultant in public health medicine in Wales. It will try to understand more about the causes of suicide, to provide support that can be accessed by anyone, and to encourage more collaboration between different agencies and charities. Ms. Mannings said she never, ever in a million years, expected the overwhelming response to the conversation, and that at To Wish, they had been inundated with families seeking support and wanting to know more. She explained how her main reason for sharing her story was to show that it's important to talk about suicide and not be scared of the word, and that anything is possible. "The message really is that people need to talk," she said. "Whether it's talking about struggles or just your day, reaching out helps, even though it's not always easy." Ms. Mannings reflected on how people often ask, "Are you okay?" but it's a vague question, easy to fob off. Sometimes it's better to offer to go for a walk or just spend time with someone who might just need a little bit of company. "I so wish Paul had spoken to me that weekend. He didn't. And I just know that if we had just sat down and talked, things would have been okay." It'd have been a different okay, but it would have been okay.